Hey, folks, just giving you a drop in the hook tonight. We've got a couple of special guests. First off is going to be Stephanie Horne with Little Cream of the Crop and Cream of the Crop, and Justin Sturdivant. That man has kind of given Zachy a visit. Zachy a little run for his money here lately with the red iron. He's finally getting that baby figured out. So we're going to bring him up here. Welcome, y'all. It's glad to have y'all here tonight. A little late getting started. We were doing some other stuff. I had some other things going on. Glad to have y'all here tonight. What do y'all have to say to everybody?
Yeah, glad to be here.
Yeah. Yep, glad to be here.
Now, so Stephanie, are you on vacation right now? Is that you're at the beach? Right?
I'm at the beach right now.
You're at the beach. You've been you just got there this afternoon, so you're just sit back, relaxing, and enjoying the beach a little bit. Are you ready for your next tractor pull?
Yes.
So let me ask you this. I'm going to start you off with this. What is your favorite one to drive, the mini rod or the classic mod?
Everybody always asks me that question. And I've been driving the big one for a lot longer than the little one, but they kind of drive similar to me. It's just the size difference, I guess.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm biased towards the big one because that's what I basically grew up with.
That's what you started, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, Sturdivant, I guess this is going to be your question too. Which one's your favorite one to drive? Cornfield or red iron?
I don't know. I like the new one, red iron. I think I like it a little better.
Well, you actually picked up your first win with that one in Greenville, so I think that one was a little more special because that one has that tractor has a ton of history. Tell us a little bit about the history of that tractor.
Well, as far as I know, it was originally called the Hangman. It was in Georgia. And then I think Robert Costner had it, and then Daryl Barrier bought it from Robert, and then Robert and Adam, and I know Adam Harris and James Van Hoy got it pretty much running. And, they ran it for a long time, and I think Paul Kuntz drove it some, and Jason Barrier also drove it. But yeah, I think the last time it pulled was in 2008, and I bought it the winter of 2019 before Daryl passed away. And it's just taken it. We bought it not really knowing what class it would go in, but to be honest, I bought it to build a light pro out of it, and we got it home, tore it apart, kind of looked at what it had in it, and we decided to stick with a hot farm like the other tractor because everything kind of, as far as the transmission, the clutch, the weight of it, and everything else, it just fit the hot farm class pretty good. So,
well, that used to be a super farm, right?
Yeah, correct. It was a super farm. It was way out of date for a super farm today. So
right. Well, the technology is always changing, and I guess that's the biggest thing going on right now in the sport in general. I mean, if you look, with the technology of the hot farm class, when it first originally started, it started out with what would you say, 600 to 700 horsepower?
Yeah, I would say upper sevens when we first started, and now I'd say we're upwards of a little over 1,100 now. So.
Wow. Well, that kind of goes back to you a little bit too, Stephanie, because if you look at, for example, the small block mini class, that class is kind of a tough class in because you're running what they call a big tire mini rod. So you have to run the 1950 weight, right?
Yep.
And now you run something. Tell us a little bit about what you run differently than everybody else on that mini rod, because everybody else I know has automatic transmissions. What do you have?
Mm-hmm. We're running a centrifugal clutch. So when it gets to a certain RPM, it'll take off automatically. And so you got to sit there and rev it up before it even takes off.
Yeah, those clutches are locking in with that RPM. And the thing about it is you having that small block, and most of the time you see centrifugal clutches on like blower motors or high horsepower motors, things like that. But with that small block, is that a little bit of a disadvantage for you? I know y'all been struggling with the hop this year a little bit, but you had a great run in Greenville. That baby smooth going out for you.
Yeah, that was like the smoothest run I've ever had with it that second night, because it went straight. It didn't bounce. I didn't hit any brakes. It was like I couldn't believe it myself when I was going down the track. I was just waiting for something to start hopping or something like that. But I think since the big tractor has an automatic transmission and then the little one has the clutch, I get to drive both of them to see like how they go. And the big one, it takes off like instantly. And the little one, you got to sit there and wait and wait and wait until it finally takes off. So that took a little bit of getting used to, but I think I'm getting the hang of it.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing. We all talk about this a lot too, is that y'all don't have anywhere to practice. So what are you going to go? You're not going to go tie it to a tree and try it. I mean, or a piece of, Sturdivant, you might tie it to a piece of heavy equipment, wouldn't you?
No, the old one has been hooked to a dump truck several times.
Well, I mean,
anyway, when we would try back when we first started, and we struggled for a long time to do as good as we did, but we would try hooking to a dump truck just to see if it would light or, turbo would light or anything like that before we drove 2 or 3 hours to go to a pool. So.
Well, and that's the thing. There's nowhere to practice. So when you're like, for example, the centrifugal clutch, Stephanie, when you do an adjustment to that, yeah, you can go drive it in the yard. You can bring up the RPMs and it'll lock in, but you don't know if it's actually going to take off the same when you get on the track. So, and Sturdivant talking about it lighting, and that's something I'm seeing a little bit more of, especially in the light pros. The water injection and all the things they're adding into that, it's a lot more of a fine tune than say it was a couple of years ago, if you're a little bit off.
Yeah, for sure.
So what is, Justin, what is your goal for the rest of the season? Do you have a particular goal in mind?
Well, I'd like to win the points in at least one group. We're behind in the Carolina Truck and Tractor Pullers group, but UPOC, I'm actually in first right now. So I'd like to continue that for the rest of the season.
Here, since we got a second, let me pull this up here. I'm gonna add this to the stage here. In fact, I'm gonna blow this up a little bit. Give me just a second. So let's go into hot forms. Let's look at this right now. This is the latest. I wish I could make that a little bigger. All right, so this is the latest points for the hot form tractors. So yeah, you're a little bit behind, but that's 348 to 378. Zachy, I tell you, your dad has kind of got him on the Cornfield Express. I mean, he's only a few points behind, and with the way this point scale works, it's a 50-point scale, so it's 50, 48, and on down the line. So one off night or one bad night, in fact, that's what hurt Zachy is in Greenville. He had that one bad night where he was down in the pack, and that really got everybody to kind of catch up with him. Wyatt Pickler's had some good runs this year with his stuff. Yeah. Darren, I mean, did you get the Cornfield kind of set up and let your dad just kind of have it, or is he figuring out his own way of driving it, I guess?
Well, no, he's not new to the whole driving, but it's been a while since he drove. But he's getting better. He was he's come around by now. So,
well, and that's the thing. Everybody thinks it's just like a little farm tractor. You drive it like a regular farm tractor. Yeah. But it's tell us what goes on what's going on when you're getting on the line. You're building RPMs. What are you looking for at the starting line?
Well, everybody else in my class asks me, what RPMs do I leave at? And I can tell them, I don't look at that. I just, when it's wide open, that's when I start easing off. But, you just basically, when I back up the sled, I kind of pick a spot at the end of the track where I want to go. And I have a kind of a game plan where I want to head to. And, just watching the green flag and make sure I hit the computer button so it records my run. So we get some data off of that run. But, yeah, other than that, hold it wide open, ease out on the clutch.
Just let her eat. Stephanie, what goes through your mind, especially with the mini ride? I know that one's been a little more of a challenge for you. That's why I'm kind of poking that bear a little bit, asking you some of those questions about it. But what goes through your mind when you're sitting in the seat, you're strapped in, because you've been around the sport, so you're just going to a different class. So what are you looking for when you're sitting in the seat? And in that small block mini class, there's some tough competition.
Yeah.
And all that crowd. So
I kind of just sit there and try to keep it in the middle. I mean, I don't really aim it towards anywhere. I'm just trying to keep it straight and make sure it doesn't go like out of bounds or anything. I don't look at the RPMs or anything like that because it'll just take off when it takes off. So yeah.
Well, and that's the thing about it. If you look at it in a lot of these, in Sturdivant, you kind of said it yourself. You're kind of driving by the seat of your pants. So you're like you're kind of feeling what the tractor's doing. That's just like when I used to drive the way that tractor took off. I knew exactly when it was time to let off the turbine brake and just lay into it. So basically what I'm finding, you can look at all those numbers but when you go down to it, you're really just driving out of the seat of your pants for the most part. But look at the small block minis. I mean, if you look at that, Mike Ward, he's still on top. But look where you're sitting at right now. You're sitting in third.
Yep.
I mean, you've had some good runs this year, and like Daddy Carter on the Rain, he struggled a little bit at the beginning of the season trying to get the hook. And when you have 15 of them and you have a bad night, it can really throw you down on the numbers. But I mean, Bobby Ingold, Tommy Bass, that's a tough one. But Mike Ward, I don't know what he's figured out, but he has figured out something with that tractor and has found its happy spot, and he just loves to sit there. Somebody I want to see run a little more consistently, and that's with his experience. And y'all probably know that Buddy Richardson on the Carolina Twister, he used to run the two-wheel drive, run the mod. With his pulling experience, I would love to see him get in this class because I think he would really stir things up at the top with with his experience anyway. So, but that's just giving you the rundown, folks. If you want to go to carolinapullers.org, this is listed under the 2024 points. We got videos and stuff. Unfortunately, some pulls I wasn't able to get this year. My wife got a new job, so she wasn't able to get those. We have been sharing links with Matthew Carter with some of his stuff. So Carter's Pulling Picks, definitely check him out. He's got a YouTube page and his Facebook page. He puts a lot of that stuff out there for us. But definitely check that stuff out. We're going to go back here on the website a little bit, show you a few things. I can go back home. There you go. But right now, we're going to have more information coming up. We got 3 events left in the season. To give you a little bit of a rundown here. Mooresville, we got Rich Hill, Mooresville, Benson. That's going to be a collaboration with Full Pull and Hickory. So that's going to conclude the season coming up. Rich Hill's always a good show. That's an all-day family fun event. You get out there, and it's just they have stuff for kids. Great food. The beef jerky there is I bought probably $30 worth last year. Mooresville is going to be a new event for us this year. We're going to be getting more information out about that one. And Hickory, we always finish up there. That's going to be a monster show. We're working on the final details with that one coming up later on in the year. But something I want to bring up too, we've got Winston-Salem, which is a UPOC event coming up towards the end of the month. That event is, make sure I'm getting my dates right, 23rd and 24th. That's pretty close to you. And I know, Justin, you're looking forward to that one because right now with the UPOC points, you're in pretty tight there. So that's going to be rather interesting to see how that lays out. That's a great power track. Perry Walters, we spoke with him earlier in the year. He was on the first one we did. And that's going to be one of his events. That's going to be a big show. So that's something definitely to look forward to. But guys, if you want more information, if you want to look at the rundowns and distances throughout the season, we got those set up for you. The media, everything's off of YouTube. It's just got links up. And if you get bored, like I do at lunchtime, I just watch tractor pull videos. So, and of course, the 2024 points race. Check that stuff out. Also, the full pull. I mean, the Carolina Truck and Tractor Pullers page we got here. We constantly got stuff updating. We got a lot of information coming out. If you're in the Silcope area, look for. Let me pull this one up here real quick. Why did you not switch? Hang on a second. Let me switch this over. I want to show this. Bear with me just a second. Slides. Oop. You there? Everybody there? Okay. Yeah, there it goes. I do not know why I did that. Okay, there it goes. All right, there we go. There it is. Look for that flyer, folks. That's the flyer you're going to see around town. They wanted the black and white version. They want to print a whole bunch of copies. Lee Daniels, hat goes off to him. He's been doing a lot to promote this event. This is going to be 2 days. We pull on Friday night. Hot Farm tractors, Pro Stock 4-wheel drives, Pro Street diesels, Super Mod 2s, light 4-wheel drives, Altered Farm, Classic Mods, Hot Street gas, and Open Street diesel. Friday night's $15 to get in. I know their flyer says $20, but I did confirm that it is $15. The antique pull is going to be on Saturday. That starts at 6. There's a ton of classes there. They have a lot more things that go on there. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's kind of like a yesteryear type thing. Shows you how they used to do tobacco and just old time ways of farming. We kind of get wrapped up in the modern ways of doing things, but look for that flyer around town. That's going to be the one to look for. And we got a tab there if you want more information. That will send you right directly to the LDP Facebook page with more information, especially for the antique tractor pull on Saturday. So if you got any questions and messages, let us know what your thoughts, what you got going on. There's some comments. Hold on, Mike Palmer. Here, let me add this. I'm going to add this over here. This is good. I like this. Hang on, let me remove this. This is a good one. Mike said, will the Stephanie Horne fan club host an autograph session at Silk Hope? I knew Mike was going to do something like this. Man, oh man. Mike's a nut. I like him. He's a character. And then a couple more people we got chiming in here. But Buddy messed up a motor at the beginning of the season, so that's why he hasn't been back. Because I was looking forward to seeing what he could do. Because that I think with his experience, that's going to be a tough one in there. But since we were talking about it, let's show a couple of videos. First one I'm going to show. Hold on, I want to find this one, and this is going to go kind of to you, Sturdivant, because this is going to be. I'm going to show your dad first. Now, that was your dad's first run, right? With that tractor.
Yep.
So what was his thoughts when he got off the tractor? Was he kind of pumped up, excited, or was he like, oh, okay, I can do this again?
No, yeah, he was excited. He was ready to go. I mean, he was ready to go to the next one.
So tell me the difference. You're running. Tell us the difference between the two tire sizes. Now, the hot farm class here in North Carolina is a little different than anywhere else. And you can run two different tire sizes. Explain to us in layman terms, because I'm not that smart, of what the two different tire sizes mean.
All right, so you got the 20.8 38s, which is what's on that tractor right there. They're taller, they're skinnier, and then you got the other ones that are 24.5 32s, which are wider but not as tall, and they are totally different. We run them both now, but I don't know. I kind of like the tall tire, but the red iron came with the 24.5, so that's what we're sticking with, and it works out for that tractor. But if you have the tall tires on it, you better bring your horsepower with you because it takes every bit of it.
So your preference is a tall tire. Is there an advantage from track to track from running that tall tire compared to the shorter, wider tire?
Yeah, I don't know, certain tracks they do better, certain tracks that you would want the wide tire, but I think where they shine is where you go to a track and it flakes up a lot of dirt in front of the buckboard. The skinnier tires don't bring up as much dirt, and you're not dragging as much behind you. But
because you're not hooking with that wide of a tire, so your track is so much less. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know that's one thing. Wyatt Pickler, he runs a taller, skinnier tire, correct?
Yeah, he's running the same exact as that one right there.
That one right there. So that's where, and I've seen that difference too. And Zachy tried something in Wilson, and it really didn't work out for him on Friday night. But I know Zach is trying to play with things to try to stay ahead in that class. But I tell you right now, I think between that tractor, White Pickler, and your tractor, we're going to pull this one up. This is the Red Iron. This is your first ever win with this tractor. You were a happy dude on that one. You knew you had it. That was a tough class that night. I mean, that track was kind of weird. But tell us a little bit about what was going through your mind that night.
Well, it helps to have two tractors in the class. I ain't going, even though they are set up completely different. You can kind of learn off of the other one. But I was the last hook of the night, so I did get to watch everybody else, and you can kind of make a weight adjustment or whatever, as far as moving weight forward or backwards. And yeah, it did help that I got to watch everybody. But yeah, when I went past, I knew who had the leader mark and I knew where I was at. So yeah, I was pretty pumped when I saw the results.
But yeah, that was
the first time on the first win. I've won several times with the other tractor, but this tractor was the first win. So yeah, it was pretty exciting.
Well, how many wins have you picked up with this tractor since? A couple?
Yeah, last week, and Wilson was my second win with this tractor.
Right. So, I mean, that tractor in the Superform class with Dale Barrier owning that tractor, it was a strong tractor. It was always the top three. It would even go to Grand National events and would be in the top couple. So, that was always a strong hook and a strong running tractor.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite tractors to watch, and I was fortunate enough to have the opportunity to buy it, and that's one reason I wanted. And I wanted to keep the name the same, everything about it, because I always liked it growing up. So,
yeah, that was definitely one to watch. So, where do you see this class, say, in the next couple of years? Where do you see this class moving to?
I mean, I don't think we're going to get nothing but more numbers in the class, because when me and Perry started the class, there was nothing but us two, and we ran two of us for like a year or so, and then some more. I know Hunter Beasley stepped in, and Cam Fields and Zach, but yeah, we keep growing every year. I mean, there's more and more now.
I think we've been averaging 11 or 12.
Yeah, every time we go, there's at least 10 every time we go to a pool now, and that makes it exciting because there's not just one person dominating now. It can be anybody's game each night. So
Hunter put in here that that he pulled Cam Fields' old tractor a couple of times.
Yeah, when Cam couldn't come, my dad would drive, because we used to haul Cam's tractor, which is now it's Steven DJ's driving.
Right.
We used to haul it in the same trailer as ours, and whenever Cam couldn't make it to a pool, Daddy would drive it, and he drove it, I think, 2 or 3 times, and he beat me every time with it. So
maybe not ask your dad to drive it so much next time. Yeah, just leave it in the trailer. It'll be okay. No. But Stephanie, I'm gonna switch to you a little bit because you're driving. We've talked about this. You're driving in 2 different classes, so we're gonna pull up. Does that tractor ever tote the front wheels and then? Because I've seen it a couple of times. I believe it was a Hickory, and that was the video I was looking for. You got 230, 240 foot, and it was basically toting that front end. When you're driving that tractor, you say that's the smoother ride, but what are you feeling in the runs with that tractor?
A lot of the time, it's bouncing normally. It was bouncing a lot in the back end, and then it bounces a lot in the front end. So most of the time, it's just bouncing. The front end never stays up completely. I mean, it'll go up a little bit and then it'll go right back down. But we're still trying to even out the weights on it and see what it likes best. But when I first started, Dad had it loaded down because he didn't want the front end going up anywhere. He just wanted it all on the ground. I mean, I think that was more to reassure my mom than anything because she was really nervous about me driving it for the first time. But yeah, that's what we've been working on.
So what are some of the adjustments you were talking about weight? What are some of the other adjustments that you do to try to get the bounce out?
See, this tractor is a big block and all the other ones in that class are small blocks. And so we have to run 500 pounds lighter than all the other tractors. So we had to take off a bunch of weights. And if there's too much off the front, like last year in Saluda, it will go crazy. And it was like, that was the craziest ride I'd ever been on that tractor. So I don't really like that. But you know, we were trying something new and I guess it didn't work out. So we learned from our mistakes.
Well, and that's the thing about it. You're in a tough class with the classic mods anyway. I mean, with Rusty, I mean, let me pull that up here too while we got a second. Where's it at? My brain's not working. There it is. This is going to have the super mods in it too. I'm going to add this to the stage in just a second. And let me switch that. Yes. There it goes. Sorry. I should have prepared a little bit better. But this has got the Supermod 2-wheel drives in there, and you can tell Jimmy Johnson, he was at the first 3 events. We really didn't have any 2-wheel drives for that one, the first 3 events, and so he kind of run away with the points. But looking at Aubrey Palmer and Justin Bostic, and Rusty Miller. I mean, that's a tight class. I think you missed a couple of hooks. I think that's what happened.
Dad decided that we were only going to take the mini rod out pulling this year, and we would take the big one to some local pulls.
Right.
So last year we only took the big one out and left the mini rod at home. So we just switched it back and forth. So,
yeah. Well, but if you look at I don't know what Aubrey's done and Dustin Bostic, but those two have definitely been pretty strong this year. Rusty's had a good season, but Aubrey Palmer, I mean, he's been solid every week in, week out. I mean, he started with Ware Shoals and pretty much been doing a heck of a job since. So that's been definitely a class to watch. I actually like watching those. When I first started watching them, I was kind of like, they're pretty cool. But now they're so tight. I mean, they're a tight class in the way the sled settings are. Especially after Rusty pulling 400 and some feet the other year in Greenville. And I think Logan had a little meltdown in the sled. That's why I had to mute his I was back then I had to have a headset with me so I could hear distances, and I had to turn him off so it didn't pick up in there. So, but Rusty, he still wants that video, and I'm gonna have to send it. I'm going to send it to you, Rusty. I'm gonna send it to you. I'm definitely going to send it to you. But yeah, that class is definitely a tight class. Those guys put on a heck of a show. But we're gonna go to your little. We're gonna go to the small here. Saturday night breakfast. So when you came out of the hole with that, and you could see you kind of gave it throttle, and you were just kind of waiting for it to hook up. So what was your game plan on that one?
I just listened to my dad. To be honest with you, he told me to just ease out a little bit further this time, and I guess that did pretty good. I reckon, because I'm used to like getting into it really quickly. It's like what I do on the big tractor, and they always make fun of me for it. But I can't help it. I just get into the throttle too quickly.
Go with it. Yeah,
yeah.
You're ready to go with it. Where do you see yourself in 5 years in the sport? Is there a certain class you want to like? Do you want to go to another class, or do you want to stay kind of where you're at and work with what you're dealing with now and just try to get better? What's your game plan for 5 years from now in pulling?
I think money wise, it's best to stay where I'm at because with these 2 tractors, we don't really have to do much maintenance on them, just the regular oil change, and we're good.
Right.
Check the valves and everything and stuff like that. And also, I don't think I could ever hold the clutch down on a big tractor. Dad says I wouldn't be able to hold it down. He says I'm too weak. So
it sounds like Justin, you maybe need to let her try it out one time.
Oh yeah.
See how
we'll swap. Leaning for that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So you're kind of happy where you're at. You just want to get better where you're at. And that's the thing about it in this sport. Yeah, it sounded like to me, Justin, you were kind of looking forward to kind of going light pro, and then you kind of said, "Well, I don't know. Hot form is kind of competitive. I like where that's at," and obviously financially that makes a difference too, because that light pros are a tough class to keep running with as hard as they're turning them now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Well, hold on. I wanted to show this up here. This is what Mike said. Mike, you can have the bullseye back.
I don't know if I want that bullseye. You might better keep it.
You might better keep it. Oh, we got a couple other people. Rusty want to say, I'll be nice and not comment too much. Rusty, I'm going to get you I've forgotten for 2 years to get him that, and I've got it saved. I was told not to put it online though, because he didn't want me to show that the sled went 400 feet. So I'm not going to do that. Guys, look, do y'all have any last words? We're going to wrap things up here. We're going to talk a little bit. Now, Justin, I know you said you're all still working on things for this weekend with that event. You're waiting to find out more information. Is there anywhere they can go to find out whether or not that event's going to be able to happen with the weather and all that kind of stuff for this weekend?
Yeah, I think it's on Facebook, White Cross Community Center, but they should update if they're going to have it. I mean, right now it's the weather, it's what's the parking situation, how wet it is, and everything. But we should know, I'd say, in the next couple of days if they're going to have it or not. But we'll see.
Well, and don't forget, folks, if that for whatever reason gets rained out, the biggest pool in the nation is going on this weekend. So if you want to watch pooling, Bowling Green, Ohio, that's where I'm headed tomorrow night. So that's going to be a big show. If you've ever been, it's definitely worth the watch. Justin, have you ever been to Bowling Green?
I have. It's been a long time, but I have been there before. It's it's impressive to go. Everybody needs to go at least once.
Yeah, that's I think it's more of a party where a tractor pull breaks out, not where a tractor pull.
Right. Yeah.
So if you get the opportunity, any last words out of either one of you?
Come out and support your local pools wherever you can.
Yeah, please. And bring your kids. I love seeing the kids come and sit on the tractors and take pictures and stuff. I think they really enjoy it. I know when I was younger, it made an impact on me. So I can only imagine how they feel whenever they come out and watch and hang out with the pullers. So
well, this is a good thing. You brought up a good thing. What was the first person? I would say, what was your first influence in the tractor puller, Justin? Who was the first person that's like, I want to be in this?
Alton Cox.
Yeah.
And it's Ray Briggs and Alton with Super Farm, and that's why I've always wanted to go to Super Farm class. But Ray's like 10 minutes from me, and we used to go down there. And when he was building the Cornfield Express or coin binder, I get mine mixed up. But we used to go down there, and when he was building his, and watched him and go to pools and watch him. But yeah, him and Alton Cox was my heroes growing up.
Alton was definitely he was a guy that I've only really talked to him a few times, like actually sit down and had a conversation. He was
a quiet man. He didn't say much.
He didn't say a lot.
You need to listen. I mean, it was
yeah. He was a man of few words, but like you said, you needed to listen to whatever he said. Stephanie, who was your big influence to the sport? Who was the person that you saw that vehicle, you saw him run, and it was like, I want to do this?
I think number one is my dad, because I'm driving his tractor now, because he built it himself back in like 2006. And when he quit, I started. So definitely him. Also Ray, because I live down the road from Ray as well. So also him. I basically grew up around tractor pulling my whole life. So I got to say like everyone local, basically.
Well, that's like you said, keep it local. Folks, we're going to wrap things up. Don't forget, go to White Cross Community Center on Facebook to kind of find out if they're going to be able to have the event this weekend due to all the weather. There's a lot of pulling going on. We got Silk Hope at the end of the month for Carolina Truck and Tractor Pullers. That's on a Friday night, August 30th. Showtime 7:30. That's going to be a big show on a Friday night. I know it's a little unorthodox, but it works out great for this event. Winston-Salem, Piedmont 300, that's going to be the 23rd and 24th, 7 p.m. That's going to be at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds. That's going to be a big show too, folks. So you're going to be able to see Sturdivant's going to be there. Justin's going to be there running. They're going to have a big class of hot farms, big show there. But look forward. Definitely support your local pullers. Follow the schedules. Definitely Carolina Truck and Tractor Pullers on Facebook and carolinapullers.org. Guys, thank y'all so much for joining us here tonight. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Justin. We look forward to seeing you. We're going to be back in about 2 weeks. And right before the Silk Hope Pull, we're going to be doing some things with that one. And doing a little bit of pre-show on Tuesday night, 8 o'clock. So look forward to y'all joining us here again. We'll be back to us. We'll have a couple more different people set up for them. Alan Moore, I believe, is going to be joining us for that one. And I'm working on a couple other people too. So stay tuned for that one. We'll have more information coming out about that. Folks, support your local pulls. We'll see y'all in either Winston-Salem or Silk Hope. Thank y'all for joining us here tonight. We're going to log off, and y'all enjoy the rest of your week.